I look like I got $3,000 to spend a month on rent. No, ma'am.
Been begging me to pop out. Why you playing? You be popping at the cop out. Girl, I fuck up your plans, get them swapped out. When I pull up on you, probably.
What is up, YouTube? What is up? Hey, it's your girl Edri in the cut. Yeah. What is up, YouTube? It is your girl Edrianna Teray. Edrianna, Edri, whatever you want to call me, and I am back with another video for you guys today. As you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, I'm going to be doing a how I moved out at 18 Q&A. I basically asked every single question in the book, so I didn't even have to like do a little, you know, plan for what I'm gonna talk about because the questions are enough. Okay, we're gonna hop right into it. You guys ask like so many questions. Y'all don't ever ask as many questions when I be trying to do regular Q&As, but it's okay. It's okay. And y'all check out the braids. Look, y'all see it. And I got my Queen Catalog shirt on. Don't be a boring bee. Okay, don't forget to shop with my Queen Kayla. Period. Alright, y'all, so I have filmed this video like 5, 6, 7 times. I am wearing a different shirt because I accidentally deleted the footage to this video. So I'm back to film it again for the 7th time, or however many times I filmed this video. But it's okay because I got my notes right here and I'm about to just get straight into the steps. And I'm gonna start off with the first part to moving out, which is apartment hunting. If you guys are new to my channel, I do have a series called Moving Out at 18. It's everything from apartment hunting to the moving out process to moving in process to the furnished apartment tours. If you guys are new or returning, make sure y'all go check out that series. I started apartment hunting about 4 to 5 months ago. I started at the beginning of the year and I moved out officially in May. So basically it took me about 4 months to like look and decide. Okay, y'all, by the way, I meant 4 to 5 months in advance, not months ago, because obviously January was not 4 months ago, but y'all know what I mean. What I do recommend when you apartment hunt is to book tours. Just book tours because they're free. It costs no money. Take some time out your day or out of the week. Schedule some tours for some apartments that you're interested in and go and look at them in person. Get a feel for what you're going to be paying for, the amenities, the property, everything. Get a feel for where you potentially could be living. One of the things that I found helpful when apartment hunting was texting the properties. So sometimes they have numbers that you can text and you can actually communicate with them through text message. If you're somebody like me who don't like being on the phone, too much pressure, you don't know what to say, text them. And what I mean by text them is simply after you greet them and they ask you know, how can we help you, whatever the case may be, ask them about your income. And you don't have to refer to it as yours. You can just say, if I were to make, or if someone were to make this amount of money. So it saves you time. So you can text him and say, hey, if I make this amount of money, or if somebody was to make this amount of money a month, could they stay at this property, or would they be able to qualify for anything at the property? And they'll tell you, yeah. Ooh, not my alarm. I was supposed to be taking a nap before I filmed this. But anyways, so they will tell you, yes, you'd be able to afford a studio, 1, 2, or whatever case may be, or no, with that income, it would not meet our qualifications, or whatever the case may be. So that's one tip that I have for apartment hunting, is to just ask the property up front about income and what you will qualify for. Therefore, if you don't qualify for anything, then there's no point of you even wasting your time viewing the property because you're not going to apply there. The apps that I used to apartment hunt was apartment.com. That's all I use. Zillow, people say they use Zillow, but Zillow to me is more commonly for houses, and I didn't find anything good on Zillow. But apartments.com, they tell you what's available right now. They tell you how much the rent is. They'll tell you if there's any move-in specials. You can book tours. You can do 3D tours. So if you don't have time or you look out of state, try to find 3D tours where you can click through and move around the apartment and view in every aspect what the apartment looks like if you're not able to visit it in person. Now, the reason why I tell you to book those tours and look is because y'all, you have to really gather your top picks and then narrow it down to 1 or 2 because you have to pay for applications. So applications for most, like at least the ones I saw, go between $100 to $200 application fee only. And then it's $50 or $75 or whatever the price is per person on that's applying. So you pay $100 or $200 for the application, but then because you're applying, you pay an extra $50 for yourself. And if you're moving in with a partner or a friend or roommate, whatever, they also have to pay the extra $50 for them, and etc, etc. So when you're apartment hunting, you have to keep your options, look at prices, look at the areas, and look at all the amenities, look at the perks of the place, pros and cons, look at everything, because you're going to have to eventually narrow it down. Unless you're planning on applying to every apartment that you like, you're going to be coming out of the pocket of couple hundred. Get your best options, view them. If you have to go back and look at the place, do that. I think I booked a tour to this place twice. The apartment that I'm living in now, I booked an apartment tour twice. I booked one when I was apartment hunting, and then when I was narrowing down my options, I booked a tour here again for the actual unit that I was planning on applying for, not just to look. I just booked tours and looked at everything they have to offer, and then when it was time for me and I was ready to start applying, then I basically just booked a tour for the actual units that I qualified for and could apply for. So I actually did look at this exact unit. This is not the one I wanted, but I actually am happy that I ended up with this one, because furnishing it was way easier and was less expensive than if I had a bigger space. Make sure that you're applying to the places that you really want and you're not just spending money, because most places don't do refunds. So make sure that you read all that information before you decide to apply. I know I applied to an apartment before this one, but I ended up not qualifying, so they actually gave me my money back. As far as saving and what I think is a good price to move, like a good amount of money saved or to stack up to move out with, I think the minimum is 10K. If we're being honest, just based off of my moving experience, I think the minimum would be 10K. At least between 10 and 15, just so that you can have something to sit on even after you move in. You know, you have security deposits. So besides the application fee, you have a security deposit, which can go between $300 to $500. Mine was only $300, which is not that bad. You have to pay first month's rent on your move-in day, or I think before you move in, actually, to get your keys. At least that's the way it was for me. Of course, you're gonna have to do all of your like supply shopping, like cleaning supply shopping. You're gonna have to do your grocery shopping. Of course, you're gonna probably want to get your big furniture, like your couch and your TVs and stuff like that. So I feel like 10K is a good start. But I would recommend a little more than that, only because you want to be able to have money still like saved up, so that you can have rent for the next month or next 2 months, or just so you can have some type of emergency money that you can always know in the back of your head is there just in case you need it. You guys asked me how I save my money, and the way that I save money, because I know my habits, I know how I am, y'all. I just spend and don't care, okay? So the way that I basically save my money is I take all of the hundreds out. So if I get $1,096, I take out at least $800 or $900 of that, and I keep the rest. Or if it's like $595, I'll just take $500 and put the $500 away and keep the $95, because the $95 is not $100 yet, if you get what I'm trying to say. So I basically separate my money by hundreds, and I take it out in hundreds as well, because it's easier for you to spend money when it's in smaller bills compared to larger bills. Like me, I literally decide not to buy half of the things that I want when all I have is $100 bills, because who wants to go through breaking it? And most places don't take over $50 or over $20. Like, you know, like, so it's easier for me to save when I have larger bills, because I'm less prone to spend them. And it's just, you know, you save a lot more that way. That's basically how I save. It may not work for everybody, because I don't know what expenses you guys have, but I save regardless. People say it's hard to save when you have bills, but I'm low-key saving for my bills, which we'll get into budgeting after that. But it's like, it's kind of within the same. Like, I'm saving to save, but I'm also saving to make sure that I have money for bills as well. You guys asked me about proof of income and credit. So with credit, you guys asked me, do you need credit to move? You do. They run your credit. That's why you also don't want to just be applying to every apartment that you see, even if you have the money, because they run your credit. You don't want to affect your credit by them running your credit constantly. You have 5 or 4 or 5 different apartments running your credit at the same time. You don't want that to happen. But you do need credit to move in. You need about a 600 or higher to move in to a place, or at least to where you're good enough to know that your credit won't be the reason why you don't get an apartment. Like, I knew that my credit and stuff will be fine. Like, I have a pretty good credit score. You could at least have a 640 or up. When thinking about moving credit, you have to have credit when you're moving into an apartment. And I recommend building your credit by either asking your parents to put you on their credit card as an authorized user, or if you have a bank account. I know I got my very first credit card through my bank, which is Bank of America. They offered it to me. It was no application, no extra stuff. They just gave me it, and it had an $800 limit. So that was my very first credit card, was through my bank. So I also recommend that. I didn't know banks do that, but I definitely was very grateful for that because it helped me raise my credit as well as me paying like my car note and stuff. And by the way, credit does take a minute to appear. So even though I had a credit card, I was paying on a car note, and that type of stuff went towards my credit, I couldn't see my credit physically. So I never knew what my credit score number was up until like towards the beginning of this year. I knew what my credit score was, and I had started my credit last year around my 18th birthday. So it takes a minute for your credit to show up. So even if you are paying on a credit card and you're starting your credit, if you try to just get a credit card and start building your credit, and you try to go out and get something that involves credit, or like you try to move out right away, you try to get a new car right away or something, they're not going to be able to run it because technically your credit is not available or showing yet. So it does take time, just letting y'all know. As far as proof of income, they ask you for your bank statements, and they ask for your check stubs or pay stubs if you work like an actual job, like at a grocery store, or if you work like in a hospital, anywhere that you're being paid by your employer. You have to bring in check stubs that show your monthly salary, which is obviously what you get paid every 2 weeks, and then what you make in a month. But if you are self-employed, you have to either bring in tax forms, or like 1099, or if you like run a business or something, whatever you filed for taxes. If you do hair or something like that, if you have a booking website, you can probably show, like, because booking websites, they track your revenue for the month and for the year as well. So that's plenty of different ways, but they do ask for bank statements, and they ask for check stubs. And if you're self-employed, either taxes, bank statements as well. Bank statements is always one. If not, just know they're gonna ask for that type of stuff, okay? You guys asked me how I budget and like things like that. So I learned from my mama, my rent comes first. Like, that's the first thing that's on my mind every month is rent, y'all. Making sure I have my rent. I don't care if I don't got nothing else, but I'm gonna have my rent money to keep this roof over my head, okay? I always learn from my mama. You keep that roof over that head, okay? So I always, like I said, I take my money out in hundreds and I put it away. So even though I'm saving just to save, I'm also saving to insure my bills, okay? So like right now, I have my rent saved up for next month, y'all. It's February 2nd of September. We just paid rent. And I already have my rent for, you know, October 1st, you feel me? So I always, like, it's easier to make sure in the back of your head that you're always ahead, which is why I said when you move out, even though you might not need all $10, $11, $12, $13,000, it's always good to have extra money sitting so you can always be ahead of everything, regardless of if you're in a good place or not, okay? Because rent is not no joke, including bills, groceries, car note, all that stuff. So my monthly expenses consist of rent, utility, my car note, and insurance, and my phone bill. So that's basically all of my bills that are my monthly expenses, not including groceries, because I kind of grocery shop like throughout the week, like here and there. So stuff just, groceries isn't really a bill for me. I only spend like $100 or $150 to $200 on food. So for me, it's not really that expensive, but I always make sure that I have rent first. So like, I try not to spend money, and usually I don't spend money throughout the week because I'm in the house doing hair all day. So that money kind of just adds up, and I just put it out, I put it away. I also save all my 1s, 5s, and 10s from my hair appointments. So when my clients give me money in cash, I take all the hundreds and I put it in my bank or in my savings, and I keep all the 1s, 5s, and 10s in a cash savings. And then like whenever I feel like I'm ready to put all that money into the bank or or into my savings, then that's what I'll do. And that's kind of how I keep my money together. I'm always thinking ahead, y'all. I never rest. I'm always thinking ahead because I like to be prepared. It feels so good when all your bills is paid and you ain't stressed. You ain't got to worry about nothing. It's the best feeling. So I always try to stay ahead, and on top of that, with my money, that's kind of how. I don't really have like a budget book. I kind of want to get into that, but I don't know. But yeah, moving in, I apartment hunted. I looked at what I could afford. By the way, apartments require you to have at least 2 times or 2.5, maybe even 3 times your rent, meaning whatever you make in the month has to be 3 times how much your apartment is going to be. Mine is 2.5 times my amount. You just have to be mindful when you're looking for apartments. Don't look at anything that's out of your budget. Like, y'all, literally, if I would have looked for something like this in downtown LA, my rent would have been $3,000. Do I look like I got $3,000 to spend a month on rent? No, ma'am, no. So look at your options. Don't go out of your budget. Look at what you think will be good enough for you based off your income and your spending habits, because y'all, it's a whole different life when you move out, unless you really just balling like that and it don't affect you. But I'm trying to learn how to just be more disciplined with my money, because y'all, I go crazy. Like, if I don't want to spend cash, bet you I'm gonna grab my card. Like, I'm quick to grab my card. Like, cards are the devil, like, for real. And if I can't find my debit card, guess I'm grabbing my credit card. Like, y'all, it's crazy. So y'all just gotta be prepared for this life, okay? You guys asked me, I have a cosigner. No, I do not have a cosigner. I am the only person on this lease. My mom is not on my lease. I'm 18. Well, I was 18 when I applied, therefore I didn't need a cosigner. And also, when you have a cosigner, they run the other person's credit and you need the other person's income as well. So just in case you can't pay your rent, so no. Do you think it's better to stay on your own when you move out or have a roommate at first? I think that for me, because when I moved out, I was still in my relationship with my friend. So when I moved out, I knew that if I moved out by myself, like, I'm independent, I'm strong, but y'all, like, I needed somebody with muscles. I needed somebody with muscles, and I needed a partner to go through all the motions with. So I feel like for me, it was best to move out with somebody else, where I wasn't alone with all the shopping. I wasn't alone through the process. I wasn't alone with buying furniture, looking at furniture, long nights, putting this stuff together. And being that I moved away from my mom, which is all I've known for 18 years of my life, it's different. So you want somebody that makes you feel like home, even though I can easily drive to my house or go see her at work or something, but it's just easier having somebody there all the time to go to sleep, wake up with, and just conquer the day with when you first move out, because it's a whole different world. It feels so different. At least it felt really different for me, because I'm not used to being on this type of alone level. So yeah, but if you're looking for somebody to move out with as far as income wise, I think it could be smart, because, you know, rent and bills can be a lot on somebody, but just make sure that they're on the same page as you, and y'all both have came to understandings and agreements of what's going to be required of each other, because it can go bad really quickly, okay? So one of you guys asked, oh, my camera's about to die. Well, that's all for this video, y'all. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just ask me down below in the comments. I'll make sure to answer them. I swear to God. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, subscribe, and join the Edrianna Nation, so that and turn my post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout. Pow. Pow, pow, pow. Mwah.